You are one prominent winner of the Cardiff Singer of the World competition. Do you remember who was in the jury back then?
Oh yes, of course. Not all, but I think it was Joan Sutherland,
Wow.
Sherry Milnes, it was Sir Peter Jonas. So very, very prominent people, and I was really lucky to meet them, and so they were so friendly and beautiful. And I remember I talked one time with Joan Sutherland, and it was so good because in that competition I sang Traviata, and she was such a phenomenal Traviata. And when she spoke to me and she told me what I could make better and what was fine and everything, it was so, a wonderful experience.
There cannot be a more gratifying repertoire, for soprano at least, than your repertoire today. Can we assume that you are at the very top, at the pinnacle of your possibilities in this moment?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because when I was younger, so the voice needs time to develop, so the age now for my repertoire is very good. So, and I try to do my best all the time. So I'm not always at my top, but I hope to be. I try to be always. I do always my best.
Well, yours is a pure lyrical spinto soprano that can nevertheless float over the incredibly beautiful score that is Vier letzte Lieder, Strauss. How do you find yourself within the frame of this cycle?
So the difficulty is because the songs can be very, especially the last two
yes.
songs can be very, very sad or so heavy, and I try not to fall into this heaviness. But also my voice is not the biggest, so I need to have some energy. So and I try to find the balance between my feeling and the technical difficulties, and also to be controlled, but also leave the emotion free. So this is the
challenge.
And this makes a very, very interesting feeling.
I personally consider Beim Schlafengehen probably one of the most haunting pieces ever written in the history of music and in the history of humanity as well. Which one is your favorite?
Oh, I love them all. Frühling is not my favorite, so it's. But I like it also. But it's not. That is not the reason why I. But in the beginning of when I didn't sing, so when I just heard the songs, and I never thought that I would sing them one day. So I liked Frühling very much. So that was when I was younger. But later, I like the three last from the four. And I love very much the solo from the violin, because I played violin,
Yes.
and I always wanted to play this. I never tried it. I should try it. Oh no, I never should try it.
Come on, just for fun. It would be an experience. Yes. Actually, there are celebrated renditions of Vier letzte Lieder, and there are quite a few. Did you listen to one in particular when preparing this particular score, having someone in mind, maybe?
Well, in the last years, not. I avoided to listen to somebody. But when I was younger, and when I started to study the songs, it was always Jessie Norman and Kirsten Flagstad. So these were my favorites. And later I listened, for sure, I listened to many others, and but not especially for taking ideas or so, because I try to be just my person with these songs, to find my way to do it.
But in preparing a new role, is this an episode that you encounter as well, listening to recordings, seeing what other sopranos did, how did they solve certain things?
Yes, I do it, but I try not to do it too much. Just because you can hear very good things, but you can also hear not so good things, and then it is so normal that a singer tries to copy a special sound, and it's always the best to find the own sound. What's very difficult is when you prepare it, you need to know how the orchestra is. So how big the orchestra is, how many instruments, and so. And for me as a singer, it's easier to hear a CD, for example, to get an impression of the sound of the orchestra than studying the partiture, the whole score, you know. I have always the score just written for piano. So and sometimes there's written, this is for the violins, and this is for the oboe, and so on. But to get an impression which kind of color is in the orchestra, it's very good to hear different recordings. Or to go to the theater, or to go to rehearsals with other people, so just hearing.
It is crucial when listening to Firleț Lieder that you take the listener with you in this flight that the music suggests. It's a surreal flight, I would say. But what if you don't feel like flying that particular night? What happens then?
Then I feel too heavy.
If you have a bad night for personal reasons, or you're just too tired, but still you have to go there and float over everything.
That can be very difficult, of course. Well, we are humans,
yes,
and I have not the idea always be perfect, but I always do my best. And so we have not each night is not the same. Sometimes I feel very bad and I have to sing, and then sometimes the music gives me and I feel better after. And so it's a kind of, this is music life. Mm-hmm. It is the art of the life character, and I like it also. Sometimes not so easy, but it is. Like
How was it tonight? Did the flight happen?
Yes, I think so.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that. It's a sensuality in Strauss music that makes me also think of the lusciousness of the Baroque music. And I was going to ask you, are you planning to go back to Handel maybe one day?
Well, the only Handel opera I did was Alcina.
Alcina, I know.
Yeah, and when I was younger, in my first engagement in Gelsenkirchen, I did a potpourri. It was Les Liaisons Dangereuses with music of Handel,
Yes.
and that was also a very wonderful experience. The problem of the Baroque music, for me especially, is the kind of of coloraturas, and I am not. My voice is not able to do these kinds of coloraturas, so I always have to look for Handel roles without coloraturas, and I think if I look. I won't. I will not find them. So Alcina is very special. She has coloraturas, but this is a kind of, you can do the coloraturas of Alcina with the Mozart and also a light Verdi voice.
You recently stepped into the role of Aida. At least for the concert and the recording with the Santa Cecilia in Rome. And this is, I would say, a new episode in your defining as one of the most important Verdian sopranos of today. Do you have plans to do it on stage as well?
Well, you know, I try not to think that Aida is such a special role, because all other roles I did from Verdi are very special roles. For Forza del Destino, Trovatore, Otello, Traviata,
Don Carlo.
Don Carlo. These are all very, very special roles. The problem with Aida is the imagination of the public. For my opinion, it is that the imagination of the public that Aida must be a very, very big diva. And I have always my problems to be a big diva.
Could you enlarge, please?
Yes, and for that reason, I'm not so sure if I want to make the stress for myself.
But Tosca is a diva as well, and you are a fabulous Tosca.
Yes, thank you. Tosca is, and when I started to do Tosca, I always didn't think about the diva thing, and later on, I saw that that perhaps is the problem with Aida too, because later when I sang Tosca, I felt that people think the big diva, big diva. So the imagination of the
a larger than life character, maybe that so soprano
strange.
that can be intimidating as well.
Yeah.
The major Verdian soprano roles are diva-like or tailored for divas.
And it is. And what is a diva? So I hate this discussion, and it's not my opinion of making music. So Aida is the title role, of course. Tosca is the title role.
Yes.
Maybe this is the only difference. Traviata is the title role too, and people are crazy about Traviata too.
Yes.
But Don Carlos and Forza del Destino and Desdemona are also very, very difficult to sing. Trovatore.
Totally. And there will be Ballo in Maschera as well.
Ballo in Maschera.
Next year, right?
Yes. My favorite Verdi is Otello and Don Carlo.
I was going to ask you about Don Carlo because it is certainly one of your battle horses in recent years. And I wanted to know if you choose a particular role by first looking at the score or by being intrigued or interested in the character, in the psychology of that role.
No, I look how it's written for the voice, because Amneris, it's fantastic character. Eboli is fantastic.
Yes, but you're not a mezzo. And actually, you anticipated one of my next questions, because I was going to ask you if you're interested in a mezzo role for, I don't know, just for fun, just trying at home in your bathroom.
Yes, I started as a mezzo. When I started singing lessons, my first teacher told me to be a mezzo, and I practiced Carmen. And
don't tell me
Dalila. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, with 16 years, 17 years. So these were my roles. And and then I went to the high school, and the teacher there said, "No, you are not a mezzo, you are a soprano. But we have to work for the high."
Yes.
Yeah.
So going back to Elisabetta, because she's quite a complex character, and this dichotomy with Eboli is always I would say it's the clue of the whole opera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you seem to really embody the character. That's why I wanted to know if the character is the first one to interest you.
Yeah. You know, Elisabetta is a character. She's very, very strong. But sometimes people don't see it because she is the queen. She cannot move. So, as like a normal human, you know, she always has to be really, really in discipline. She has to think what she, all of the movements, all what she's saying, and how she's acting. She has to think before, and that makes her a little bit like being in a prison. Everything is inside, and then sometimes she's exploding, but she's then. So tough, yes. that she is under control always.
Not to mention the magnificent score.
Yeah.
And that wonderful aria. It's a fact we have to wait 5 or 4 acts to hear it, but oh my God, when we hear it.
And this is also, she's in front of the monument of like marmor. She's so like a stone, and she's so self-controlled, and then this weakness, and it's really a masterpiece.
I don't know how many people are aware that probably your first encounter with Don Carlo was not in the role of Elisabetta, but you were the voice from heaven.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, that was, I didn't know the opera. I was very, very young in my first engagement. And they told me, well, tomorrow we have the final dress rehearsal of Don Carlo, and you have to sing the Voce del Cielo. And I said, well, I don't know it. Yeah, but we practice it today. It's not so much, and your voice is perfect for that, and you do. Then I went home with the score just for 2 hours to read, and I saw she's behind the stage. So I said, okay, I can go with score and singing it. And then I was on stage in the middle of the chorus, and I was staying the whole auto da fe, and always they said you have to hear when the music is bum 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 bum, then it's time to prepare. And do you hear the auto da fe? It's I don't know how many times. It's from the beginning
to the end. Yes. Yes.
And I was sweating, and it was my legs were wet from sweating, and around my feet there were there was having been in the rain, but nobody saw it. But just for me, it was so difficult and exciting.
And when you finally had your cue, was it the right time?
It was the right time, but the conductor told me I make you a sign. Mm-hmm. But do you know how many times a conductor is making this? Yeah, I got the cue, and it was just a rehearsal, so it was fine. But that's theater.
That's a nice story. Yeah. Where do you see your voice going and evolving for the next years?
Well, I am in the moment. I don't think so much where to go, because the roles I have are 4 years.
Yes.
Are for being up to the end of my career, I think. So I just think which roles I shouldn't sing anymore.
Such as? This is an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for example, I before some years I decided not to do Traviata anymore, or Fiordilici, or Contessa is always possible. But so you are asking for the Verdi roles. And Simon Boccanegra, I decided not to, because I think it's beautiful music and I like it very much, but I'm not always the daughter, you know, so anymore. So I need more the women roles. And I'm at the moment I'm working on Sieglinde to try it one time, or Ballo in Mascara, it's also new, and André Chenier, Maddalena. Yeah, so these are my plans for the future at the moment.
Wagner being introduced in our conversation, I'm going to ask you, how do you juggle within one season with Wagner, with Verdi and Puccini?
Well, Puccini, I just do a Tosca in the moment, because Mimi, it's also such a role.
Out.
Yeah. So because I'm not I think Mimi has to be a very
fragile.
Yeah, fragile and so polite, and so and I felt always my body is too big, and the tenors are always smaller than me, and it was such a so when I'm near dying, and so sometimes she in some productions she has to stand up, and I'm like so, and the tenors are behind me, so it was always a bit.
It's like the balcony scene.
Yeah, it was strange. Yes. Yes. So Tosca is the only one, and I can manage. Of course, I need some time before, but after I'm always very, very good in form, and so it's wonderful. Wagner and Verdi, of course, sometimes it can be a problem, but I made the experience that the difficulties of Wagner music are less when I am singing Verdi. Mm-hmm. Because Verdi is not so difficult for my voice. And Wagner can be difficult because sometimes it is difficult to find the flow of the music, because sometimes it's a little bit like this. But you know, I have 3 roles. It's Lohengrin and Tannhäuser and Sieglinde perhaps. And Eva, Meistersinger, this is also a role
Out
which which I don't sing anymore, because she's also she needs to be a very young girl.
Yes. Any plans for the French repertoire?
No, not at the moment. I did some very beautiful songs from Fauré and Chausson with chamber orchestra.
Yes.
That was beautiful. But roles, I don't find the roles, because when I was younger, it could have been Margarete from Faust, but it's not anymore.
Definitely not.
And Dalila.
Oh yeah, let us not forget Dalila.
And Carmen, no. Well, yeah, I'm looking for, but I don't really find a role. Maybe vom Gluck.
Iphigenia or Armida?
Ja, oder Alceste oder sowas.
Ja,
yes. Das wäre mal, that would be perhaps beautiful piece.
Tricky question now. How does your performance change according to your stage partner that night?
That's not a tricky question. That's an easy question because sometimes you make your job and sometimes you feel something. Mm-hmm. And that makes a difference, of course. And sometimes you feel very, very much, but that's sometimes not so good.
Yes.
So it's also the mixture of being impressed and inspired yes. from the partners on stage and also in the pit.
In the pit.
Yeah. And to be controlled, self-controlled.
When there is no chemistry between the partners on stage or between the singers and the maestro in the pit, what does replace that?
Well, when I in the past, sometimes it doesn't make a difference for me, or it doesn't bother me. Mm-hmm. But the longer I'm on stage, it bothers me more and more. And sometimes I'm losing my. Sometimes I'm not so friendly when something happens.
Yes.
But not on stage. Then I tell later
yes.
or before the next performance. I wish I could do at this place another thing, and please would you be so kind and help me, or be at another point or something. And most of the times it helps.
When you want to experience opera at the peak of its intensity and drama and magic, why not? To what soprano from the past or from the present do you turn to?
Well, I think the haters of Maria Callas will hate me now.
Are they haters of Callas?
There are, yes, there are. And when in the moment when I say, well, she is doing something very, very special with me when I hear her, mm-hmm. Then they will say, oh, she has a broken voice like Callas, and so the opera world is so strange, you know. But I love also Renata Tebaldi, but not just Callas and Tebaldi.
Yes.
There are so many. Renata Scotto, she was so wonderful and always so right. So it was so natural when she interpreted the Italian roles. Mm-hmm. It's really, really fantastic. And many more, and also in the German repertory. And I love Leonie Rosanek, mm-hmm. for example, and also Elisabeth Schwarzkopf, and Kirsten Flagstad, Martha Mödel. I love René Fleming also. And sometimes when I hear, for example, Hans Suthaus in Tristan und Isolde, mm-hmm. my heart is going.
Yes.
Always my heart is opening.
Now I'm gonna go back to something you mentioned earlier about being this diva, affected person. You are one star soprano that has kept herself somehow out of this publicity turmoil. Was that your wish?
Yes.
Yes.
The media, the televisions and internet and everything is so fast and people are forgetting mm-hmm. so many things. So I think we used to throw everything away.
Yes.
Using away.
Mm-hmm. Superficial.
Yes. And for opera and classic music, this is not working, from my opinion. Mm-hmm. And also I am a very critical person. And
self-critical?
Self-critical, and also critical with the world around me, yes, of course. Yes. And when I see always one opera singer who is speaking about always the same things or about nothing, and I am so, I feel...
frustrated?
No, yeah, frustrated, and I feel like a mosquito coming to
mm-hmm.
me, so it's
yes.
it is too much
invaded.
For me. Yes. I think we can speak, of course, sometimes, and if it is interesting, and but also we have to speak with our music, and that's the most important thing. And if we cannot speak with music anymore, then we should be quiet, I think.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us, both through music and words tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay, it was a pleasure.